In this episode of Life is Action, we tackle canine diabetes. Our dog Boomer was diagnosed with canine diabetes 1 year ago. In this video, we will walk you through the steps so you can properly mitigate your dog's diabetic condition. Disclaimer here, I'm not a veterinarian, nor am I a dog nutritionist. I will show you what worked for our dog, but every dog is different and their diabetic conditions are different. Results may vary. Be sure to watch to the end. You won't want to miss it. This is Boomer. He's a 7-year-old flat-coated retriever mixed with pit bull. Up until a year ago, he was a very healthy, active dog until he was diagnosed with canine diabetes. Okay, so when Boomer was first diagnosed with diabetes, almost 1 year to the day today, it was devastating. We thought he had a urinary tract infection because he was urinating a lot and he was very low energy. We took him to the vet, they did some tests, and they found out that he has diabetes. His blood glucose was off the chart. It was above 500. So it's been a crazy process for us. The prognosis seemed really grim at first. The thought of caring for a dog with diabetes seemed a little overwhelming, but Boomer is a part of our family, and we sort of just jumped in with both feet, and we were committed to doing the best we could for him. So in addition to what the vet was telling us, we joined a canine diabetes group on Facebook, and that was instrumental. So the vets have limited knowledge on diabetes. It's a complicated animal to tackle. And so I think there's two different avenues that we could have gone at that point. We could have either taken him to a specialist, or we just enveloped ourselves in everything we could that was related to dog diabetes. And this was the process that we went through over the last year. So with our research on canine diabetes, there's two main factors that you have to control. One of them is their food. Now this is a food that we've finally found that he likes, that meets his dietary requirements. It's readily available and it's affordable. The other is insulin. And with the right insulin comes the right needle. So we started out with a prescription dog food that was recommended by the vet. It's very expensive, and you need a prescription. It was like, I want to say $120 for a 20 or 30 pound bag or something like that. It was ridiculously expensive, but we did it. And the insulin that we were recommended, even though we were getting it at Costco, was about $500 for a month's supply. So right away we realized this is not going to be sustainable. As much as we love this dog, we're not going to be able to keep up with the cost of the food and the insulin. So we had to find an alternative. We tried a few different insulins, and we finally found this one. This is called Novolin, and this is available at Walmart. And this vial is about $20 to $30 for this vial, and it does not require a prescription. So what we were finding with the vet was, even with the prescription dog food and the prescription insulin, when the prescriptions needed to be renewed, they were asking us to come in, bring him in for another visit, and this and that, and that was adding to the cost as well. So by buying a commercially available dog food and the insulin at Walmart, that saved a ton of money, and it wasn't dependent on constantly seeing the vet, which each visit is over $100. So this is the food that we are using now. This is Purina 1 Plus, and this is the healthy weight, high protein formula. So what we found with diabetic dogs is the best diet includes high protein, low carbohydrates. And so what we do through a lot of trial and error is find the right amount of food to feed him every day, and the right amount of insulin to give him as well. And so you'll notice we prepackage all the food, and we do that after we weigh it. So in our case, Boomer gets 310 grams of this food twice a day. So feeding is a huge part of your dog's diabetic journey. With Boomer and the insulin that we're using, he eats twice a day. We figured out for him, his food intake should be 310 grams per meal, and it's really important to spread it out so you have 12 hours between feedings. So in his case, we shoot for feeding between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, whether that's a.m. for breakfast or p.m. for dinner. So to arrive at that magic formula of quantity of food, type of food, and the amount of insulin, it's recommended that you conduct what they call curves. And a curve is simply checking your pet's blood glucose every 2 hours and recording the data. The better the data, the better the results. So we're pretty careful to set reminders and whatnot, and to do this every 2 hours. And the more curves you do, the better your data is, and the quicker you can finally arrive at that magic formula where you're giving your pet the right amount of food so that they maintain their weight, and the right amount of insulin so they have the right blood glucose. And in Boomer's case, we shoot for about a blood glucose in the high 100s to the high 200s seems to work pretty good for him. So not only are we tracking his blood glucose, but we're also watching his behavior. So when Boomer's blood glucose is really high, he's kind of lethargic and low energy. Okay, I'm going to walk you through the process to check blood glucose. And with Boomer, we chose to use the Alpha Track 3, which is calibrated for dogs, and this has seemed to work pretty well for us. So I'm going to show you exactly what doing the a check on Boomer looks like. All right, so when I go to check Boomer's blood glucose, I take I put a lancet inside this little poker, and we take a little protective part off there so you can see a little sharp lancet. So we put that in here. He's got real meaty ears. So we kind of dial this up to 5, but you can dial it down depending on your pet. So the next thing I do is I take the Alpha 3 and I put one of these test strips in there and I get it ready. So I don't put it all the way in, because if you put it all the way in, it will turn on the instrument and you may not have enough blood initially, so it'll time out on you. I'll get down here in the camera. Okay, Boomer up. So what we'll do is, and he's a real trooper with this, so we pull back his ear like this, and we take the poker and we'll just prick his ear. Okay, all right, so you can see that there's a little bit of blood there. Perfect. And then I push this in here, and then you'll see this thing will come on. And it goes through a few different things, and that tells you that it's ready. Up, up, nope, up, Boomer, up, up. Good boy, okay. All right, I know this is taking a little longer than normal. All right. So you touch a little bit to that blood, you're good, you're good. And then you'll see the display, and in this case, he's quite a bit low. So I was just exercising him. 75 is a little low for him. So we're gonna let him take a little break. And then when we come back, I will show you how to inject the insulin. So stay tuned for that. So there's a lot of different types of insulin out there, and we have gone with this one, which is Novolin. And like I explained before, this is available at Walmart, and it's really affordable. It's between, I'd say, $20 and $30. And so to get this ready for the injection, you just kind of gently roll it like this. You don't want to shake it, but you do want to kind of mix it up a little bit. All right. Different types of insulin require different types of syringes. And in this case, that insulin takes this type of syringe, which is called a U100. So make sure that you are using the right syringe for the insulin that you're going to use. So what I do on this is I pull the plunger back to about 25. Boomer is getting 23.5 units twice a day. So I pull the plunger back, and then I insert the needle into the insulin, which is upside down, and then I push the plunger in, and then I draw it back out to the right dosage. And in this case, I'll show you here, you've got to be precise with this. So here is his dosage right here. All right, so next I will show you how to inject the insulin into your pet. Okay, so Boomer's a real trooper about this. What I try to do is just grab some skin here on his shoulder area, and then I just insert the needle and make sure you've got good contact, and slowly depress the plunger. And then I just kind of rub that area just to make sure that it's not what they call a fur shot, where you're just sort of injecting insulin onto their fur. You want to make sure you got it into their skin. And he's really good with this. I think he somehow knows that this makes him feel better. Boomer, you want your ball? Already? Go get your ball. Go get it. Get it. Okay, so a few months ago, he would have easily been able to see and track that ball. And as you can see now, he's really having trouble. He's trying to use his nose to find the ball. Find the ball. Where's your ball? Where's your ball? Where's your ball? Where's your, hey, here it is. Here it is. Good boy. Oh, that's a good boy. Good boy. It's very common for dogs with diabetes to develop vision loss or blindness. In fact, about 75% of diabetic dogs develop cataracts. In Boomer's case, it took about 7 months for him to show some signs of vision impairment and about 8 months of being severely vision impaired. In this episode, I showed you how we mitigated Boomer's diabetes. In the next episode, I'll show you how we mitigated his vision impairment. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell for future episodes, share with your friends. Life is action. Do something.